Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's Arfan with the Successful Lead Generating Coaches Show, and I am here today because I want to talk to you about some predictions, some trends that we're seeing, and just kind of dissect some of the things that we're seeing in the marketplace right now, especially around advertising. So here's the deal: Facebook Meta just released their Q2 2024 results, and I want to just dive into some of this, have a little short conversation. So let's tune in, and don't forget to also just give the video a like, subscribe to the channel if you find this information helpful. It gives me an idea of what you guys like seeing, especially learning about advertising and learning more about Meta and things like that. So anyways, without further ado, let's just hop right in. And this is all public information. So right here you see we have the Meta Report second quarter 2024 results. And they go through a lot. So if you care about the financials, you can see here the revenue is 39. And they, if you've read reports like this before, this is actually in millions. So 39,000 million, which is 39 billion dollars in 2024. It shows you 2023. It shows you the change of 22% year over year. So really great growth. Cost and expenses has actually stayed pretty good. So just 7% change. So financial wise, they're doing pretty good. So people look at this if they're deciding to purchase stocks and all those different things, right? So, but we're not here for that. We're here to go a little bit further down, and we are looking at some of the things that's actually impacting advertising. And one of the things I want to point out is one of the big things here is right here. So family daily active people, DAP, right? So the family daily active people was 3.27 billion on average for June 2024, a 7% year-over-year increase. So that shows that the daily active user on Facebook is actually increased. So a lot of times people will say Facebook ads are dead. Facebook ads is one of those things. Is all the blah blah blah, all the blasey blasey. What the reality is that there's actually more people using the platform compared to the previous year. 7% year-over-year growth. So a lot more eyeballs, a lot more opportunity to actually advertise on the platform. So if you're advertising your coaching services, your digital products, if your e-commerce business, no matter what it is, you're seeing a 7% year-over-year growth, so there's more people on here. And there's also an opportunity too as well to now also expand your target audience. So if you're potentially just advertising on the US alone, and they're not giving this breakdown for just US or vice versa, it's just overall worldwide, but also to look and see where you're advertising, because the growth happens across the board, right? So there's more people that's coming in the Indian market, the South America, the Latin market, things like that. So if you're able to expand your advertising to go from US to Canada, you're not going to be tapping into more of the growth that's happening. Okay, so the next thing here is ad impressions. So ad impressions delivered across our family of apps increased by 10% year over year. So you probably noticed you have seen more ads. So this is basically what this is saying. There's been a 10% increase in ads being shown. So there's more people on the platform, but they're also showing more ads. And this can look along the lines of a 10% increase can look along the lines of something like if for every 10 posts you see, you'll see one ad. It's going to increase for about 10% more, right? So every 10 posts you see, you may see about maybe 1.5 to 2 ads. You may see 2 ads potentially. And one of the reasons too for this is because there's been a massive increase in video views over the past few years, especially in the past year. A lot more video content being produced. And with the increase in video content being produced, there's also an increase in advertisement placements. So a lot more placements, a lot more opportunities to have impressions. So if you are running ads and you're just doing images, this is probably some things where you may want to start looking at, hey, how can you start including videos too as well? Short video scripts, 15, 20, 30 seconds, as high as 2 minutes or so, can do really, really well. You can go higher. It's not about the length, it's about the quality and engagement. So people are gonna consume it if it's good. They're not if it sucks. So just straightforward with that. The next thing here is average price per ad. And this is where we see an average price per ad increase 10% year over year. So a lot of people have seen this. A lot of our clients, we see this, and it's one of those things where it is very subtle, 10% year over year. And this is like, for example, so we have a client, the CPM cost, the cost per 1,000 impressions, right? What it costs us to advertise 1,000 ads. Let's say it was $10. is now $11. So it's not very, very large. So our cost per lead may really stay the same. You don't really notice that too much. Now, if you have a higher cost per lead, you're targeting a niche audience where you naturally have a higher cost per lead, you may notice this a bit more. But just overall, it's 10% year over year. So this is kind of a compound thing. Ad costs have gone up since the pandemic to now. Ad costs has gone up, especially when iOS 14.5 came out. And that can feel like it's so long ago, but there is still a big impact of that from ad costs. That actually set up a huge increase in ad costs. And from there, it went down a bit, but now we can see it slowly kind of increasing and going back up too as well. So average cost per ad has increased 10%, so you can just kind of estimate that. The way you would approach this, right? So the way I recommend approaching this is when you have a 10% increase in ad cost, when you're looking at, and I talked to my client with this, when we're looking at projecting how much of a budget do we want to go with. So if our fund, hey, we did $20,000 on our last launch, we're doing our next launch again, what do we just go with the $20,000 again? Where do we go? And it's like my recommendation would be to like, hey, let's increase this. Let's go about 10% higher. If we want to match the exact same results we got from the last one, apples to apples, now that's something that's borderline impossible because everything is so different. The audiences, all these things. It's a constant moving ecosystem, right? But play with me here. If you want to match it apples for apples, if you did 20,000 back in Q1, and there's a 10% increase now in Q2 and you're going to launch in Q3, well, you got to put 10% more. You got to go from 20,000, you got to go up to 22,000 because it's just the nature of the game. Well, 24,000, 10%. So you're going to have to increase it. And the reason being is that it's the advertising cost has increased. So it's going to be more, it's going to cost more to reach the audience, which means the cost per lead is going to go up. And it's very subtle, from $10 to $11. You don't really notice that too much when the grand scheme of things, when you're trying to get about a few thousand, trying to get 2,000 leads on there and use the same budget, you get 1,800. You fall 200 leads short, and you're trying to figure out why was the ad cost right here. Now the other stuff on here, like I mentioned, revenue 39 billion. We saw that up there, so 39.07 billion increase, 22% year over year. So that's a pretty great growth for a company. A lot of companies, to grow 20% is almost unheard of, especially when you're already at this massive level of 39 billions, right? The cost, all these things here. So sometimes these have to do with the ad cost increasing. So if their revenue went down but cost went up, you could sometimes look at these reports and see that there's actually a higher average ad price increase higher, and you may be like, oh, why is my ad cost going so much? Well, they're just trying to make up for their losses and their gains and different things like that. Now this increase here to 22% increase, if you want to take a guess of why that is, you don't have to guess, I can tell you. It's AI. The artificial intelligence has taken leaps and bounds, and the placement increase in Facebook has really coupled that. Meta AI is probably something you're seeing more and more. Meta Quest, the metaverse, all these things, and this plays a big role in adding to revenue. Not the whole full picture, but it plays a big role in adding to it too as well. So if you're ever interested in all these things here, it's really great to see. You can see their head count, the company head count, their growth, and it also goes in here too as well for some additional commentaries in which they talk about their infrastructure and what their projections and all these things are. So it's really great information, especially if you're using this platform for your business. If you're using Facebook advertising as a primary a primary platform to reach your target audience, it's great information to see, to stay up on the trends, things like that. So one thing I definitely tell you for sure is that you will see cost have an increase, especially going into the fourth quarter. Typically, costs will go up in the fourth quarter. So you can just kind of expect that, hey, costs are going to be increased, and there's changes you need to make in order to navigate that. So hope this has been helpful to you. Drop a comment below in the comment section. Let me know what you think of, what your thoughts are, what your opinions are too as well, what things you may predict or you see, or even what you're seeing in your own business as you're advertising. And don't forget to also share this video with someone that it may be helpful to them. Give the video a like and subscribe to the channel for more content. Again, my name is Arfan with Grow Out of Scale, and I will catch you all in the next video. Have a great one.